Good afternoon, everybody. How is it going today? It is a beautiful, beautiful sunny day here in London, Ontario, and I'm actually sitting right by the open window, putting the finishing touches on the first class of yoga and yoga for mobility and strength, which is the class that is starting tonight, as well as I just finished putting the finishing touches on the prenatal yoga class starting tonight. So I often get asked the question why my yoga classes look different than most other places. So that's why I'm here today, to tell you a little bit about that. So all the classes at Body Mind Fitness are quite a bit different than your average yoga class, partially because the most amount of people you have in a class is 7 people. So there are only 7 people maximum per class. And this gives the opportunity for me to really dive a little deeper with the needs and the goals and the wants of those who are specifically attending the class. So the longer you come, the more I get to know you, the more I can cater that class, or at least a portion of it, directly to you. Of course, you have to share that time with the additional 6 other people. So yoga for mobility and strength originally came out of the practice that I was doing at home. There came a time where I just didn't have time to do my full strength training workout as well as doing a full yoga practice. So as I was teaching at the studio, I had my own completely different looking classes at home. And what this does is oftentimes in yoga classes, especially in my experience as a yoga teacher, people would kind of strike a pose. They would strike a pose and they'd hang out in that pose. Sometimes they looked a little bit uncomfortable. Sometimes I noticed that they weren't breathing. And they were really kind of like hanging off of their body in order to achieve what they thought was the optimal version of this pose. What yoga for mobility, if I could talk today, that'd be awesome. What yoga for mobility and strength offers is the opportunity to find those typical yoga poses that you know and love, but we add some movement, or we add some little different types of connection in terms of what you're feeling in your body, changing some of the alignment within those poses, so you start to really dial into more of a muscular feeling to those yoga poses. So all of that to say, for instance, when you look at Warrior 3, which is kind of your body's in a T shape, you're standing on one leg, your lifted leg is behind you, your body is in the opposite way, making a T shape. It's a balance pose for sure, but it's also a hinge, which is what we often do in personal training. It is a functional movement. It is something you do every day. So we use a yoga block and we hinge down, we pick up the yoga block. The blocks that we have at the studio are corks, so they got a little bit of weight on them. If you wanted more weight, we could definitely bring some more weight into the class, but that isn't something typically we do. But again, I'm trying to incorporate exactly what you need within the class. And we start moving in and out of this Warrior 3 position using core breath, which kind of always dials back into core and pelvic health as well, even though that isn't the focus of this class, to help kind of contract those deep abdominal muscles. So you're also getting that core work out of it, and you're also keeping your pelvic floor safe. So bonus there. So, all of that to say, right now there are 2 spots remaining in the class. So 2 spots available for the full registration. You can sign up and try it out tonight. There are actually 4 spots tonight because a few people are not able to attend tonight. They'll be doing a makeup class later on. And if you want to come out, try it out for $10, you're more than welcome to. If you decide that you love it, there are 2 spots available for the remainder of the session. So I know it's a little bit last minute, but you can either get in touch with me or head straight over to the website. You're going to want to register under the classes tab. So you'll look under the date for today. So today's June 4th. You would click on that class, you'd register yourself in, and then we'll chat more at the studio. If you've never been to the studio, make sure you come a little bit early because there's always a little paperwork aspect to it. But yes, I am super excited. I love this class. It's really dialing into some new movement type things that are being seen with other instructors around the world. And a lot of the spaces came out of, specifically with other people, a lot of yoga injuries happening. So people who only did yoga all the time starting to get injured because they didn't get that strength training aspect. The reason that I introduced it to Body Mind Fitness is because at the time when I was kind of going through some changes, a lot of the people who were coming to the studio were only able to come to that class or the classes that they were signed up for. And I wanted to make sure that they were getting that full spectrum that they needed. So a little bit of strength work, a little bit of yoga. We always end with 10 minutes of meditation. So you still get that nice, well-rounded yoga class, but you're also getting that super awesome, like kind of burny feeling in the muscles as well. Of course, at the end of the day, if that's not what you're looking for, the other thing I highly encourage in all the classes is choosing your own adventure. So I'll give some options of how you can just hang out in the pose. And the cool thing is a lot of people who come to the studio are just super into their own thing. And they just do their own thing. A lot of times I've taught class and I'd be like, oh, here's an option, if you would like a little bit more of this, here's an option if you want a little bit more of that. And when it's a big group, everyone is kind of focusing on that big end pose, the full expression of the pose, what they view as potentially the hardest part or the more advanced part, but there's none of that really happening at the studio. Super amazing place to come, whether you've been practicing for a while or you are just starting off your practice. And again, the more I get to know about you, the more that you are able to share with me ahead of time, even if you are brand new, the more you are going to find exactly what you need within the class. So classes are starting tonight. I've got yoga for mobility and strength, which you just talked about right now, and prenatal yoga class. So both have spots in them, only a few spots though left for the entirety of the session, but you can always check back frequently to see when those spaces open up if, attending the same class every week isn't in your schedule, which I can totally relate to, which is why I opened up those drop-in spots, because back in the day of waitressing, when my schedule was not consistent at all, I needed those drop-ins. And then same thing, if you can attend most, but especially the further ahead you know that you're not going to be able to make it, as long as you give 24 hours, you're more than welcome to make up your class in any of the other regular scheduled classes within this session. So if you have any more questions, feel free to send me a DM, post them in the comments if you're on Facebook. Let me know what I can do to help you get in the door. If there's any concerns you have, I am here to give you all the advice, all the encouragement you need, because honestly, the people who come to these classes, aside from taking summers off, so things are starting to get a little bit slower, they're always coming back. They are always coming back because we're always starting every session with a fresh new skeleton class that we then just get the opportunity to grow on throughout the 5, 6, 7 weeks, whatever the session happens to be. So thanks so much for tuning in. I'm going to get back to work here because I am leaving very shortly to go see a client this afternoon. So again, if you've got any questions, feel free to let me know. If you're interested in the class, feel free to just sign up, get your spot. We can chat some more at the studio tonight, and I look so forward to meeting you. So thanks again for tuning in. I have to find the finish button on my computer, and I will talk to you soon. Have an amazing, amazing day. Talk soon. Bye.